Good morning, Year 10. Welcome to another lesson on speeches. Before we get into that, I'd like you to do this do now, which is, as ever, is on one of the texts that we have studied. So your do now is girls of that class. Mrs. Burling says that to the inspector in Act 2. What does this quotation tell us about class in an inspector calls? Perform a quote explosion. You know how to do it. You know how to do that. Look at the language and structure and analyse how it supports your views on what that quote tells us about Mrs. Burling. And we all know how to do this, so off you go with that. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that and then go on to the next slide. Our learning objective today is to explore aspects of a particular type of speech called judicial speech. So just write the title into your books, Judicial Speech. Judicial speech is a speech that's used in a law court. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner there, that's Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird making his closing speech. So a judicial speech is a type of speech that's used in court. Lawyers use it, judges use it, and so on. Now cast your minds back, Year 10, to when you studied Of Mice and Men, which was based in 1930s America, which is the same period that To Kill a Mockingbird's based in. And what back then in 1930s America was the attitude towards black people. Have a think about that. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that. I'll give you a clue. It wasn't very good. Now, that racism was it wasn't just something that people did off their own back. It was actually racism was part of the law. Black people black children went to different schools, and that consequently they learnt a different curriculum, one which very much taught them that they were less, that they could expect less from life. That was actually taught to them at school, and you know, they couldn't obviously travel on the same transport as white people. They couldn't go to the same parks. None of that changed until the 1960s, and this is set in the 1930s. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. If you haven't read it, you really should, because it is a fantastic, life-changing book. If you read it at your age, it really is. I cannot recommend it highly enough. The novel is told through the eyes of a young white girl, Scout Finch. It is set in the southern state of Alabama in 1930s America. It has a lot of similarities to Of Mice and Men. Scout notices the injustices of her society towards a range of people. This becomes more prominent when her father, Atticus, defends a young black man, Tom Robinson, in court against the charge of raping a young white woman, Mayella Ewell. Tom did not rape her. Mayella's father saw her kissing him and did not like the fact that she was kissing a black man. The rape story was fabricated so that he wasn't ashamed of his daughter. Now there's a YouTube clip I've attached there. You can go away. It's a little 7-minute summary of the whole book, and it'll give you a bit of perspective there. So watch that, and then just why might Atticus Finch find it difficult to prove Tom's innocence? I'll give you 10 minutes. Just write a 3-line response to that. I'll give you 10 minutes for all of that. Atticus, the lawyer, the Scout's father in To Kill a Mockingbird, makes a closing speech in defence of Tom Robinson, who he knows he's not going to get off because the jury are all white people from the local area who all, I mean, to them it's not even racist. They actually believe that black people are of less value than white people, so they are never going to convict him. Sorry, they're never going to acquit him. They are always going to convict him, despite the overwhelming evidence that says that he didn't rape Mayella. Not only was it overwhelming, it would have been impossible for him to do it. So watch the speech. It's a very powerful speech, and how does it make you feel? Just write a short response to that. The speech is only about 2.5 minutes long, so I'll give you 5 minutes to do that, Year 10. I've attached the speech as a Word document to class charts there. Perhaps I'll put it up as a PDF as well, actually, in case you can't print it out. I'll do that. So read the speech through. After each paragraph, you will highlight in 2 colours the emotive language and the logical factual language. If you're just doing it straight off the screen with a PDF, just write down the piece of emotive language and the piece of logical factual information. Emotional language, a little definition for you there. Look, emotive language, which invokes pity, makes people feel pity. It's an emotional argument. And factual language, creating a logical, factual argument. I mean, the emotional parts of the speech are that that Tom's a black man caught up in this terrible situation where he can't win, and the factual part of the argument is another, or one aspect of it is that he can't actually use his left hand, so he can't have done the things to Mayella that she says he did. So there you are. I'm going to spend 15 minutes on that. And the big question is, of course, is Atticus's speech, is it judicial? Is it? You know, if you don't think it is, say why. If you think it is, say why. So there you are, just a brief response after your highlighting. Is it judicial? Just 5 minutes for that, and then on to the next slide. Now you've got to have a go. You're writing a closing judicial speech for one of the characters in an Inspector Calls arguing for or against their guilt for the role in Eva Smith's death. So pick one of the characters. They're going to make a judicial speech saying they are guilty or they're not guilty. It's up to you. There's a plan, a little tick list there for you to help you do your planning. You need evidence, so you're going to need the text. You're going to have to get evidence, quotes from the book. You got to think about how you're going to open and close it. What language techniques will you use? Remember Da Forest. You don't have to use them all, but I think that's what you should be going for. A bit of persuasive judicial speech here. Plan each paragraph, and obviously SPAG, good quality vocabulary, etc. And there are achievement points for anyone who sends me this work. I've seen so little from this group, which is a shame, because I'd love to see your work. I know it may not be as convenient as it might be, but try and send it to me. And good luck with that, Year 10, and I will speak to you again on Monday.